I'm going to start off in chat just to kick this off. I'm Matt. I'm from Guelph. We're local. Cool. If you want to introduce yourself in chat, we can get a little friendly discussion going. You can meet all of the co-owners of all of the other businesses in the room right now. If you run a store, feel free to share that stuff in the chat. We do like making this community a little bit more friendly. So sweet, you can drop that in there. Right on. Let's actually get into the content you came in here for. Cool. This is us. That's a picture of Aaron. That's a picture of me. We are the owners of 2H Media. We are a marketing agency in the e-commerce space. We have a strong view with some emerging stuff on video production. So we find video is the place to be right now in terms of putting your product details online, capturing your customers' attention, competing in a fairly competitive environment. We do a lot of video production, as well as all of the other things on the screen. We're going to talk about email marketing quite a bit today with BFCM. We're going to talk about a little bit of social media. But yes, the content side is where Aaron and I really are thriving right now in terms of video and photography production. If you have questions, sweet. You can read the slides too. We've got a bunch of experience under our belts. We've been doing this for quite a while. We became Shopify partners long before COVID. Cool. So what we're actually going to learn today, we're going to go through a marketing strategy, specifically with a timeline for BFCM. We're going to go through the big week, so what you should expect. If your business is new and you've never experienced the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I'd love for you to tell me that in chat, compared to how many people have and how many people haven't. And I'll kind of, based on a little bit of that data, I can kind of tailor this based on if we have a whole bunch of launched in May, congratulations. So you'll be new, great. The more people that go in there. So I'll keep it, the more people we have that are new, I don't want to share even custom build, only one. So yes, so there's going to be a bunch, never Black Friday. Great. Launch is November 12th. Unbelievable. Wow. You're third, only one. Cool. So there's going to be a little bit of a mix launching on the 12th, and Black Friday's right around the corner. Completely new. Cool. You're in the right spot. You're in the right place. We're going to talk about the big week. We are going to talk about what happens after Black Friday. Like, don't just forget, like, it doesn't just like stop and then it just, no, there's a whole follow-up process to this as well. We can get more juice for the same amount of squeeze. We want to do that. And then we've got a Q&A. Sweet. Great. I think this is the first thing in my slides. I'm not sure if I should share this just yet. Great. I am going to share a few things with you early. Yes, I am. I'm going to put a link in chat, and I'd like everyone to download it because it's exactly what you need for this presentation. If you already haven't downloaded it, this is it. You can download it there. It's completely free. It's just a digital download, so everyone can get it. Pre-COVID, we would be giving this out in person in a physical printed form at the Shopify offices. We would have been doing this with Shopify at Shopify. If, because of COVID and all of the things that we've all been through, we've taken a digital approach to this. This is a Black Friday, Cyber Monday canvas. I just put that link in chat. We're going to be going through this step by step. Cool. I'm going to give everyone a minute to get that downloaded. Again, it's free, no credit card, no nothing. Just download it 50 times, share it. It's just a PDF. You can print it off. You can edit it in a PDF editor. Cool. That's just where we want you to take your notes. It is on a Shopify store. Aaron and I also manage, and own Sprint Point, which is just a bunch of free documents built for small businesses. And we find that sharing resources so that people can communicate better makes entrepreneurship awesome. So this is one of those resources. Feel free to explore Sprint Point after this call as well. But yes, please download it. I'm going to give it 2 more minutes, and we are going to actually fill this out together. And again, it's going to take you a little bit of time to do this, but I'm going to walk you through pretty much every section here. And some of you, when you signed up, you probably saw the Sprint Point download at the sign up page, or it was emailed to you. But yeah, take a look at it. It's really, really important. What you'll notice when you download it is there's an iteration number at the top. So if you've never done one of these before, I'd love for you to date it. Yes, you add it to the cart to download it. Yeah, you just add it to the cart, you check out, just like any normal Shopify store. Give me your email, and it's going to prepare a digital download for you. And then we do a little bit of reporting with Shopify after this as well, because we're a partner with them. So we track downloads. It's not going to cost anything. It's not even going to ask you for a credit card. It will not show up at all. So yeah, it's a free workshop, completely free. There is an iteration number at the top. So if this is your first Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I'd love for you to like date it, because I'd love you to take your notes year over year so we can actually start comparing year over year. We ran a very similar workshop to this last year as well. So if we have anybody in the any of the participants in the chat today that were here last year as well, you will be familiar with this document. Not a whole lot has changed with the document. The strategy and everything like that, the messaging can change, but the whole style of an event-based sale stays fairly consistent over time. Cool. Is anyone having trouble with the download? Because again, if this was in person, I'd be walking around, handing these out, making sure everyone had one, making sure everyone brought a pen. Cool. If you have trouble with it, let us know. If not, we're going to continue on. What you'll notice, great. There is a bunch of sections here. Sections. First section is marketing strategy. Marketing strategy, you should see that on the canvas. You're going to see that on the screen in front of you. We're going to need to determine something. Just join. Where can I find the download? I'll put it in chat again, right there. You can find it right there. There's the download. Again, we're going to send you the link to download it in the follow-up email as well. We'll probably put it in the comment of the YouTube video as well. So if you're just catching that on YouTube later on, you'll have the download link in the YouTube description as well. Probably. I'll leave that to Aaron, leave that to brighter minds. We're going to do a few things. We're going to go through this checklist. Great. We're going to start and set an end date. If you have an advertising budget, we're going to discuss it, letting a few more people in. We're going to create an offer. So you're going to need to create an offer or a sale or some kind of promotion. It doesn't need to be a sale, but it's going to need to be some kind of promotion. We're going to talk about preparing your social channels, capturing the required media. So that's like photography, videography, like what are you actually putting in front of people? Planning some landing pages if you don't have any set up already, inventory, and then special policies. So there's normally a bunch of special policies that we'll get into as well, like committing to people that they'll receive their goods by Christmas, because that's a really popular one. There's a whole bunch there. Let's get into it. So we need to start with some goals. The section 1 is some goals. You might think of, well, I'm going to do something online or in store, or both. Are we going to discount? Are we going to give away free product? Are we going to give something like free shipping? What are we going to do? I don't know. That's for your specific business. I'm not an overly large fan of deep discounting. Deep discounting is a way to just absolutely destroy your brand worth. There are other ways to do it. So like, sure, you can offer a discount, but deep discounting is not great. There are going to be specific things that we'll recommend throughout this that are really, really important as well that we'll touch on. Cool. Start and end dates. So when is it? November. So it's Friday to Monday. So Black Friday to Cyber Monday. Sweet. This year is November 25th to the 28th. So that is very, very soon approaching, 24 days away. Cool. We don't want to miss out on early sales. So like this is something that I would have loved to have gotten in front of this audience a little bit sooner, but that's okay. You're really, really going to need to focus on this. Normally, it used to be that brands would wait and actually do a big launch for Black Friday. Now what you'll see is there's all kinds of leech where these big discounts, these big promotions start a lot earlier, because if I can get it in front of my competitor physically in time, I'm going to capture those sales. And then normally someone's not going to buy 2 of something if they've already bought it the first time. Well, great, I can steal some market share there. The best way to determine this, if this is your first Black Friday, Cyber Monday, is go back in time. What did your competitors do last year? Go into their social media, Go into their whatever channels they operate on, look, find the dates, write them down, put them in the box. What did your competitors do? What was the industry average? When did they start? When did they stop? Let's get a baseline metric for what your industry did last year, especially if you've never done it before. Let's start with that, is the when. If you have done this in the past, you'll probably have some data, and you can rely on that for your unique market in terms of when to turn on and when to turn off. But that's the best thing that you can do. Look to your competitors for last year to get a baseline. If you write it down this year and you save this PDF or this piece of paper for next year, you're probably going to be able to reference that and make a better decision going into your second Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So that's why I definitely encourage you to write this down. You can write it down, store it away, remember where it is, forget about it until next, essentially, August, October, when you need to start planning for 2023. Cool. Right? So they might, just like the slide says, they might be running their sales any which days they are. Like, they are free to do so. So you just need to make sure that you are doing that. Some of them start on Thursday. Some of them end on Tuesday. Some of them have very unique requirements. Just take a look at what they're doing. Be aware of it. It'll save yourself some headache, take some guesswork out of it. Really, really important. Cool. Ad spend. If you've got ad spend, we have two types of budgeting. So yes, we run a marketing agency. We have two types of budgeting we recommend for small people. One is a money budget. Money budget's hard for small business. If you don't have a money budget, you should have budget number two, which is time budget. How much time can you dedicate to this initiative? If you don't have dollars, you should have time. If you have neither, you're in trouble. So the goal there is we need to dedicate. Oh wait, that's a big question. I'm gonna let Aaron read that question and get going, because that's a big one. Cool. So you should have money. If you don't have money, you should have a time budget. I would write that budget down. How much time do I have to dedicate to my promotional strategy? Is it 1 hour a day? Is it 3 hours a day? Is it 15 hours a week? I don't know what it is for you, but you need to come up with it based on that time budget. By 15 hours a week, let's say, you're going to be able to determine how much you can accomplish in that amount of time. So is that 15 Instagram reels? Is that a whole bunch of work on your YouTube channel? Is that a whole bunch of photography and posts and edits to your website? It's going to be up for you to determine what to do with that time budget for time. For money, you have a money.
To jump in with that question, Matt, it was about discount codes. So the store in question, they have a bunch of influencers with referral codes, and they want to encourage those influencers to still promote with the referral codes during the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale. So they're thinking of allowing customers to use two codes, like the Black Friday, Cyber Monday one and the referral code. Is there a different approach you would recommend to still encourage influencers to use the code?
Very good, interesting question. So, so just make sure I've got this right. You're running a discount when you buy through an influencer. So like a standard, like save the 15% when you buy through a specific influencer. Cool. And then you're going to throw another discount on top of that, so that you can say discount code 15% for influencer plus another 15% for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. That can get a little bit confusing. It can, and people will miss it, and then it's going to ruin your tracking. You could, I mean, depending on how many influencers you are working with and how great their communication is or not great their communication is, you could provide them an updated code, including the Black Friday deal. So you could say, hey, influencer, we're going to give you a 30% off code this week. And I know that it's only going to run between X and Y dates. And it's going to be, instead of 215 codes, it's going to be 130% code that you can really push for your audience, because it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and they're going to be buying through your code anyways. So it's going to be like, so can I simplify it? Normally we advocate for simplicity because it'll make it easier and less friction for your customers. So if you can combine those codes into one, that would be better. So
there might be some cost saving there as well, because the influencer code that's updated to include the Black Friday, Cyber Monday discount doesn't necessarily have to be as big as if they were actually using two discount codes. So if you're giving like 15% off for Black Friday, Cyber Monday and 15% off for the influencer, like Matt suggested, you might be able to give them a discount code for 20% off instead of 30. So they're still getting a better deal going through the influencers code than just using the Black Friday Cyber Monday one. But you're not giving them 30% off. So you're saving a little bit of money there and still encouraging your influencers to share their code.
Yeah. So I want to kind of, obviously we need to show them some love because they're acting as a sales channel for you, which is sweet. But I also want to make the process easy, and that'll be, yeah, smooth, like very, very smooth. So I don't want to complicate it. If you can do that, and again, depending on, like, I mean, if you work with 3,000 influencers and you got to get a whole bunch of unique codes, that can be a real pain in the butt. If it's, 15, way more manageable. So definitely think about that. Ooh, great. More people in chat. Cool. So there's that. So time and money budget. Great. So money or time budget, you need to dedicate time to this. That's going to be accountable to your own schedule. And you need to determine what the highest priority things are for you. And we're going to figure those out through with the workshop today. Money budget, really important. Double down on the sales channels that are already working for you. Don't think about starting something new. Don't think about like, oh, I've never done YouTube advertising before, so let's venture into that. Big mistake. Double down on what's already working. So if you've got money to spend, don't try to do too much with it. Double down on what's working. Spend it where you're already spending. If you have money and you've never started a sales channel before, or you've never gone into paid advertising, very difficult to do right now. Costs are up. Acquiring data is more expensive. It's going to be much harder to jump into the market and do well at it. Because the optimization on your ads is currently 0 because you don't have any prior data. So just please be be aware that if you're starting to advertise and you've never done that before, there's higher risk for you. There's no way around that. The same time, I would not spread myself too wide. I would focus on, I want you to do one thing really well. So if that happens to be YouTube advertising or Google advertising or something with a streamer or influencers, I want you to focus on that solely, especially if it's your first one, because spreading yourself too thin, you're just going to get lost in the noise. I kind of need you to make a little bit of a splash. So you got some repetition in someone's day. They're going to see the ad a few times. They're going to be a little bit more familiar with your brand. If they see it once, it's gone. So spreading yourself too thin. Jan, good to see you again. That is, so for advertising spend, again, for an advertising budget, fairly straightforward. You need to know your margins. You need to understand how much you can give away before you lose money on every sale. Normally we start with about 13%. So can I start with, like, if my product costs $100, if my product MSRP value is $100 and I'm running a 40% margin, so meaning 60% is $60 is cost, $40 is profit. I'm looking at running a $13 acquisition cost. So of that 40, I'm reinvesting at $13 out of that to generate another sale. So out of my 100, 13% is $13. I'm going to take 13% of my profit. That would be the goal. That's a really quick way to determine a marketing budget. There are better ways. It should go down over time, but that's where you should start. So you can do some math on that. 13% of MSRP should be your marketing budget to start. Cool. Create an offer. I mean, everyone should be fairly familiar with creating a discount code in Shopify. That's just a screenshot of one. So great. 10 to 15% discount isn't going to do very much if your competitors are offering 40 to 50. So what this really means is if they are just deep cutting into their margin, and you're running a brand where, it's a little bit more luxury, we're not offering that, don't do it. Do something different. Offer different value. If cutting your price tag is not part of your brand, don't do it. Now is not the time to fall off the wagon in terms of, oh, everyone else is doing it, so I have to do it too. No, do something different. There are all kinds of things that you can do that are different. You can offer Black Friday, Cyber Monday exclusive products that are only available, limited quantity products. You can play with other tactics within the marketing mix for you. So you can offer donations to charity, saying every Black Friday purchase is going to benefit a local or an NGO or a charity or something that drives home with your brand. You can double down in your messaging. You can play with You can play with scarcity in terms of limited order quantities. You can do all kinds of other promotional tactics besides giving someone dollars off. Suggest percentage discounts over dollar amount discounts. Okay, great question. This has like been studied by like every, so the question is, would you suggest percentage discounts over dollar amount discounts? There's been like a zillion case studies done around this. People have their own opinion. It depends. So if your product is a nice round number, like it's $80, it depends on the communication style, really. So what is going to be visually more appealing for the customer? So if there's a discount of $20 or 18%, I'd rather go with the $20 because it's a nice round number that makes people feel good. They save $20. If it's, you know, that same $20 is equal to 18%, I'm going to go that way. I'm going to go with my dollar off. There's also, you kind of have to play to industry standards. What are the industry standards on your product? We don't need offering a discount. The way that you communicate the discount is not totally a competitive advantage. We want to have a clear communication. So if someone is comparing my brand to someone else's brand, I want them to very quickly say, okay, this is easy to do, and my qualities should shine through, not like the technical details around the sale. Yeah. And Jan, that's a great point. If you're offering product in Canada and US on the same store, obviously you have to take into effect that the exchange is a thing, and who doesn't love American dollars right now? But yes, that you will get, it will be more complicated for you if you've got, and again, if you get to the right size, you probably should run two stores, US, the .com and the .ca, and have separate pricing and shipping requirements and all that. And that'll, so you, again, dive into the industry. What did your competitors do last year? Especially if you're just looking at the time they started, what did they do last year? What did go on sale? How much did they offer off? When did they start it? So we're kind of getting we had the when, and now we're kind of getting the how. Cool. Next, the sales channels. Great. So as small business owners, we all struggle to have more time in our day. We're juggling things. If you have to be active on 4 different platforms to answer questions during the week, normally some amount of communication is going to suffer. It just will. There's no doubt about it. People, especially now, are expecting fast communication and good communication kind of at the drop of a hat. Hard to do when you are the one trying to do everything. So less is more. I would rather you have great communication on one channel rather than crappy communication on 4. That obviously makes sense. So great. If you are on Instagram, answer those DMs really, really quickly. Answer those questions in a very, very fast manner. Be prepared to field a lot of them. This is like, it is information overload at this point, and people are trying to make a decision because it's a time-based sale. And we don't know all of the like there's going to be all kinds of tactics being used. There's going to be countdown timers, buy in the next 5 minutes and save a ridiculous amount. And they're trying to validate whether or not this is the best thing for them. So the faster you can communicate, the better, which also means making your offer very clear on those channels to start is going to be really, really important. So that's where you get on and you use a little bit of video and you actually tell people what's going on. For every $1 that you spend on our store, we're going to donate 10 cents to X and Y. Great. Very, very clear. Here's all the things that fall into that category. I want it very clear, like one sentence, and it's free shipping and all of the things that you need to get down. It needs to be in a very clear, concise manner because people are kind of pressed for time as well. Yes, common sales channels, sweet. You know, obviously your store, your website, if you have a brick and mortar, obviously in store, your social media channels, email marketing, SMS marketing, if you've got those enabled. Yeah, people, there's no reason why someone, if you send out a Black Friday, Cyber Monday email, there's no reason why they wouldn't reply to that email. It will, if they hit the reply button, it will go to you. So check that inbox as well. Make sure that's not bouncing to spam. So you kind of need to make sure these are all in order. And obviously the more balls you have in the air, the higher the chance that one of them gets dropped. So double check, have this stuff open. You should be checking it regularly. Keep your phone on, loud, vibrate, whatever you prefer, you're going to need to do that. If not, it should just be costing you a bunch of money. And yeah, managing traffic. So what this also means is if I've got limited inventory and I'm trying to push a specific item that I've only got 200 of, I need to make sure very, very, very clear that I've got inventory to sell. So if I sell out, I'm not ticking people off or I'm pushing them into another product. Very common in restaurants. Great, they sold out of dessert number 1. Oh, if you love the raspberry cheesecake, if you really like this, you know what? We're sold out of it. But if you like that, you'll really like this. I need you to have plan B. I need you to have plan B. Those contingencies are really important so that hopefully when you do sell out, the money just doesn't stop. What's the plan B? And you should probably introduce plan B anyways, because that's just good brand awareness and upselling and all of the nice things that people automatically like if they like your brand in the first place. Media asset, there's our little rubber duck. We take him everywhere. I was just with him on a camping trip. You'll see some photos of that on our social media shortly. Great. Does it need a facelift? Do you need to update some images? Do you need to give a fall vibe or a winter vibe to some of your products? Now's the time. The clock is really, really ticking for you right now. So is anything out of date? Get that shot, get that edited, get that up. If you want to do that, again, if this was like, if we had another 4 weeks prior to this, I would say, yeah, it's a great time to do that. It's a great time. You've got a little bit of time to do that. Now you're going to kind of get pressed for time. The clock is against you now. We're kind of ticking down to it. You should have everything you need well in advance. And we're going to go through the timeline in a minute on the canvas. But you should have your social media queued up, ready to go. Like you should not be building this that week. It should be done. It should be scheduled. It should be waiting and ready for that little automated timer to go off that it just goes. So this needs to be thought out because during the week, it's going to get a little crazy for you. And I honestly, I hope it does because that crazy is good. So you should have all of your social media stuff scheduled up. You should have the assets you need for email. You should have the assets you need for your store. You need to have all that. It's time to write that checklist yesterday. So if you need to beep something up, good, take out your camera. Note, photography performs better when there's a human being in the shot. So great, a nice white box photography like our little rubber duck here is great. That's cool for this presentation, that will do. If I was trying to sell this rubber duck, I'd probably put it in a bathtub with someone, I don't know, using a rubber duck the way it's used, or putting it in a programmer's office or something like that, a normal place where you would find a rubber duck, because that is going to be better content than just in a white box. So think about that. Break out your phone, hire a professional, find a friend with a camera, something. Good photography is essentially one of the best weapons you have at attracting attention. So if it's not good, fix it. And if you do need someone to take a second look, happy to do so. Cool. Oh, and with this, again, if I went back a year ago, what photography was my competitors using? How often were they posting on social media? What did it look like? How did they approach it? I definitely want to highlight that. Another point with the sales channels, actually now I'm remembering it. Sign up for your competitors' email marketing list. You will get their entire Black Friday, Cyber Monday funnel that you can then save, archive it, next year bring it back out and learn from it. So sign up to it, learn what they're doing. You can see when it got sent. You can see the messaging. You can see the imagery. You can see the offers. You don't need to buy anything. This is research. And like Aaron always does, Aaron will steal inspiration from wherever he can to make his product better. Inspiration is awesome. So I'm looking at what is working. I'm trying to find those things that are working, make them better. Landing pages. Very important if you're running paid advertising. Landing pages will actually save you money. So if you are running paid ads on like Google or YouTube or anywhere that is search engine focused. So even if you sell to an older audience and you're advertising on Bing, there is this sweet thing called ad score. Ad score is a combination of relevancy and money. The relevancy is how related the ad, your ad, is to the page it's directing to, and a robot can determine those things very, very quickly. The more relevant the landing page is to your ad, the physically cheaper your ad will cost to display, up to 25%. So there's a fairly decent ROI right there in building good landing pages. We do a lot of this as an agency. We do a lot of advertising. If you've never worked with an agency before, they bring a lot to the table, not solely to us, but they bring a lot of these tricks and things, money-saving exercises into the table. Normally, a landing page is designed to increase conversion rates. It's going to be very, very highly specifically targeted to essentially the benefits of the product, while featuring some product features that is talking directly to the customer based on who they are. If you don't have that and you're sending someone directly to a product page that doesn't have a decent product story on it, your advertising dollars just won't physically go as far, and the conversion rates will be a lot lower. There's a sweet tool on Shopify, and obviously we're talking about Shopify today because it's sponsored by them. There's these sweet things on Shopify called product stories, where you can build out essentially the use cases, your benefits, the features, the whole 9 yards about the how, the where, the when, the why, the competitive advantage, everything directly on the product page. That's going to take a little bit of work on your part. We do them quite easily because we've got full-time developers that live in Shopify, but that's something that you should look in. A good example would be Allbirds. Is it an app? No, it's not an app. If you're using, it's a good question, Jan. Product Stories is not an app. If you are using Shopify 2.0, I think Aaron can talk a little bit about this when he's back. If you're using Shopify 2.0, you can build product stories directly into, I'll give you an example right now. You go to Allbirds. I know they're on Shopify. Sweet. I'm going to bring this up. I'll show it to you in a second here. I'm just going to pick a pair of, oh, they got slippers. I'm looking for shoes though. Cool. Great. Here's Allbirds. You're going to see there's Allbirds. Here's Allbirds. I just clicked on a random pair of shoes on Allbirds, the wool loungers. Cool. A product story happens underneath all of the details. Now we're into story. We're into the benefits of the product. We're into like how cozy and warm and the material, and it's made from X and Y, and a whole bunch of extra selling features. There's going to be a whole bunch of extra value in this that will allow you to help you sell better and alleviate any customers' concerns. And again, it's not an app. It's any, Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't know if you'll know this answer either, because I know we specifically focus on a finite number of themes, but most Shopify 2.0 stores can handle product stories. Is that correct? I know that we don't know every theme, so I don't want a blanket statement that.
I mean, you can blanket statement that product stories are a concept more than a specific type of technology. The whole goal is to literally tell a story about your product on the product pages. And we did an entire workshop about product stories earlier in the year. The way we recommend building them in Online Store 2.0 is just using all the various blocks that are available in the customizer in combination with product page templates. And as long as your store is on Online Store 2.0, you can do that. It's not theme specific.
I'm not sure everyone saw my screen there, so just give me a second. This is Allbirds. This is Allbirds. Great. They sell shoes. They sell. I don't own a pair. We're not affiliated with them. This is just the example that comes to mind. There are plenty of them. Great. They've got their colors and their variables and their sizes and their shipping details and the product details and everything, and their pictures. And there's a little video. Cool. Underneath all of that, this is the story. The product story starts when like the product details end. So this is, like I said, Jan, not an app. They just build more content onto their pages to tell about the product in a way that this can't. So instead of just offering a photo of like, the wool sneakers, they actually talk about them. What are the product features or the benefits? Sorry. So the benefits is cozy and it's tread lightly and everything. Aaron just put a video into chat. We have a YouTube channel. We try to give away as much information as possible, which is sweet. I still don't think you can see my screen, which is weird, but
I just placed the video link that you were describing. That goes to our video on how to create product stories in Online Store 2.0.
we can see, sweet. Jan, if you have not upgraded to 2.0 yet, my theme has not been updated. You could use image and text blocks from out of the sandbox as an example. Yeah, you probably could. I know less about out of the sandbox content because normally we build things in house, but I think that is just a essentially a block builder that you can import sections into Shopify. I think I'm not as familiar as you probably on that because I don't use
Out
that.
of the sandbox, Matt, it's a theme company, and their themes tend to have like a lot of blocks in them.
Oh,
But they're not necessarily, if it's an older out of the sandbox theme, it's not necessarily set up for multiple templates. It's all doable within the core infrastructure of Shopify, but you'll probably have to set up those templates within the code base if it's pre-Online Store 2.0.
okay.
So it's a lot more work.
Bottom line, be on Store 2.0 because it's like way a lot of value. If you can't do that, don't try and do that before Black Friday, Cyber Monday. That's going to take you some work. There are other options. But think about where, if I was trying to sell a product to you or you're trying to sell a product to someone else, what are those big selling features? It's like, that's a great question. Wait, Aaron, what is Store 2.0?
Let me post the video talking about that as well. Shopify did a big update over a year ago now, almost a couple of years back. It was such a big update that they called it Online Store 2.0. Like this is a whole nother version of the online store. And it was a ton of awesome features, expanded filtering, added meta field functionality, sections on every page. It's if you've started Shopify within the last year, you're on Online Store 2.0 because they've rolled it out for everyone. If you've been on Shopify for a long time, you might not have upgraded yet because you have to upgrade to a newer theme that's Online Store 2.0 compatible. But there's a ton of great features. It's a really awesome upgrade. This is one of the reasons we love Shopify. We've used a lot of different software providers over the years, and most of them don't provide updates at all or provide terrible updates that make features harder to find. And Shopify produces amazing updates every year. So Online Store 2.0 really exemplifies that.
Cool. Back to our landing pages. You're going to need to beef those up. Do it. It's good for you. It's good for your, especially like the relevance scores in digital advertising. Again, if you're pushing people and it's just like to a page with a product, a price tag, and a button, we're definitely under the benchmark of good sales. It's obviously harder to do if you're running like a store with 25,000 SKUs. Hard to do. I would focus on where you make your money. I would be building products and landing pages based on the highest demand products. You should be using the reporting features in Shopify to determine essentially there's an ABC report. I think you'll have access to at a basic Shopify that will go through the top selling products that you've got in a little bit more detail than just a sales report. Very, very important to do. Focus on those ones. Focus on where you make your money. You'll have a better time. Cool. Inventory management. Obviously, if inventory is of concern with you, like we work with a few brands where they do like product launches and they're importing stuff and there's all kinds of problems with how they're getting their stuff. Communicate that. There are only 1,000 left or 300 left. That kind of creates some urgency, but also sets your customers' expectations. So communicate the stock volume. First off, communicate it. Second off, you need to actually manage that stuff because it's going to be something where you're going to have to bring it in and then get it back out. So let people know what the estimated shipping times are going to be. Will they get it before Christmas? Will they get it in 2 weeks? Is there going to be something that you can do to help them out? You need to communicate that stuff big time, big time. If they're out of stock, obviously Shopify has some cool features that when it's out of stock, people can still place orders, things like that if you set it up to do so. So if it's out of stock and it's gone. Obviously, there's no more. I would love for you to put that in place where it's, sign up to our emailing list so that you will know when more stock arrives, or You can buy it and then we'll ship it out if we sell when continue selling when out of stock. But make sure people understand that they're going to wait a little longer. It's going to save you a bunch of headaches. So great. Does your shipping policy need to change? So yes, I don't know if it will need to change for you based on how you're going to do things, but it's something to think about and make people aware of. And then great. And again, it's a competitive advantage. We've made our shipping easier. We last year, I think we were looking at Toys R Us on their homepage. They had their shipping displayed 7 times on their homepage. So Toys R Us had their the Get It Before Christmas messaging 7 individual times on their homepage. And they've got budget to determine how many times it should be on the homepage. And it was 7. So once is not enough. If you just have it in the little banner at the top of your website saying hey, that's it, not enough. Bigger players are going to be communicating that key messaging in a hurry, especially if you're doing a Christmas related product. The return policy, there's lots of times that you can't return. There's going to be final sales stuff. It's going to be a Black Friday original. So we're not actually going to take this back. If I go back to my Allbirds example, I'm going to put this back on screen here for a second. Really, really cool thing that you can do here. Give me a second. Cool. I'm back on Allbirds really quickly. Great. Limited editions. All they've done is added some variants here. So they've got some shoes and their classic colors, and there's a sale, and there's some limited edition. Those limited editions could easily have said Black Friday exclusive, and it could be one specific shoe in a color that is nice and unique. And that's it. It's the uniqueness of the Black Friday sale, and you're just offering a limited edition shoe or a tote bag or a pen or a branded hoodie or whatever you would want. But yeah, I don't need to discount that one. This is an exclusive offer. It's only available. Cool. So they're already doing it. They've got sale and limited edition already off on the hook. You can do the same thing and let people know. So yes, just communicate the details. Okay, timeline. Cool. We're now actually into the spreadsheet. So 1 month, which is a couple of days ago. You should be putting some of this infrastructure together. So I would be building out all of those sales collections. They don't need to be live today, but the work needs to be done. The sales collections need to go in it. The Black Friday exclusive stuff needs to be in a collection with the right photography, and it's just waiting in the wings. You need to update your policies. Great. And update any last minute updates to the site in terms of products or things like that, if the pricing is going to change something. Big one, installing a live chat app for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Normally we say don't do a whole bunch of new things because those can take a bunch of time and energy, and those are a learning curve. Chat apps are really easy to install and very easy to use. They link up to Shopify quite easily. They'll go directly to your phone. They're fairly streamlined. It's not going to be a big project for you to do. We have a few of our favorites that I think we'll get to in a second, I think. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, chat apps are really good for Black Friday, Cyber Monday because it goes directly to your phone. Great, prep the media, prep your ad copy if you are running ads. So yeah, take your shots. There's plenty of leaves on the ground right now if you're in Ontario. There's lots of fall feeling stuff. Cool. Start running your ads now. Turn them on. You don't need to, your ads doesn't need to be specific to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but you should be turning them on to create a benchmark. So in order to plan for next year, if you've never done this, I need to start my ad campaign for Black Friday now so that I can see when the ad costs spike. They're going to go up. So I can't already start where they're high because then I won't know how much they went up by. They're just already high. I need a full time frame going, great. They were low at the beginning of November and they were great. And I was getting lots of clicks and lots of impressions. And then there was a spike. There was a spike in traffic. There was a spike in demand. Maybe my daily budgets were running out. That's going to tell me when my audience starts looking, when your unique audience starts looking for your things, when they're tuned in to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, when they start looking for ads, we're going to see that spike in your ad traffic. That's going to be unique to your business. Your competitors aren't going to be able to find that. We can't go get that from someone else. You need to physically harvest that yourself. That's first party data from you. When did they start looking for you? You're going to be able to get a little bit of that data from your store. So like the Shopify analytics will give you a little bit, but those are going to be people that already know about you, especially if it's your first year in business. Your organic search is probably going to be fairly low. I'm going to get way better data if you run that ad campaign a little bit early so we can see when and how. When, where, how, what keywords, a whole bunch of things. But it's got to start first. And it's especially in ads, there is no retrospect. You can't go back in time unless you've been collecting that data the whole time. So really important. Email marketing, abandoned cart reminders, that should already be set up, especially if you've been running your store for any length of time. But make sure maybe you want to change your stuff, maybe your messaging a little bit for your abandoned cart, browse abandonment. Cool. If you are on the canvas, it's just a checklist. That 1 month prior, that box 2, it's just a checklist. It's just there's not a whole lot of recurring there. If you want to make some notes, that's really important. It's just making sure that you're not missing anything. 2 weeks prior, great. So that's like next week. Yeah, next week. That's kind of scary. Next week or a little bit after that, 10 days. Cool. We're gonna start teasing this stuff. We're gonna start teasing it. Absolutely. You're gonna start mentioning that 3 places. Website, 1 communication channel, 2, you're gonna start mentioning it. What are we doing? Let's get a little bit of hype going. You don't need to pay to have that mentions, but we're gonna say like we're excited to be coming out with something really unique this Black Friday. I can't wait to show it to you. I can build. It depends on your brand, but I want to do something. I want to just engage my audience. We work with a ton of beer companies. We work in the brewing space quite a bit, and they do all kinds of collaborations. They do all kinds of things that are unique to the seasonality of things. You're going to need to try and look into your industry as well. What can I do? What can I generate? How can I generate some hype with this? Promoting gift cards. It's something that so many people undervalue. Gift cards are cash. Get that cash. It doesn't add any, especially during your busiest sale time. If someone is not actually making you fulfill a product when you're super busy and they're just going to pay you to store the cash so that you can fulfill when you're not busy, take that as an immediate win. So great. Plenty of gift cards get given at Christmas. You should think about enabling them on your store. They really help for small business cash flow on top of not throwing fuel on a fire. If you're already having a problem fulfilling and already stressed for time, I would just love the money. Give me the money and I'll fulfill it in March when whoever got the gift card purchases, I don't know, in March or in February or any other time. But it delays the labor, and the labor is a pain in the butt during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. You should ramp up your social media big time, increase it. You're just going to have to. You're going to get lost in the mix. You're gone as fast as I can swipe my finger. Phew, you're gone. So more screen time. Single send email campaigns. So the single send email campaigns should come with an asterisk. If you've got a VIP list, I would let them know as early as possible about what's going on. So if I've got a recurring like VIP list with like people that are like brand loyal, I would absolutely want to give them the early heads up because they deserve it, because they spend a bunch of money with you. So those single campaigns could go to some special folks within your community partners. Like if you've got any like other people in your network, like all of the people in your city, for example, I want you to let them know of things. If you're in B2B, definitely letting partners know is really important. You might want to custom send that stuff, but launching the single send stuff is really important here because again, we're going to build more hype. Cool. 1 week prior, this is where things are actually going to tone down for you. You are going to do less because the risk is high. You are losing time. Avoid major changes. Like we've done a bunch of communicating already. Don't, it's a well-working machine. Don't throw a bunch of twigs and sticks into the gears. Just play it cool. I would absolutely think about modifying the website at this point just to include those collections. Get those collections live now, the ones that you created back in month 1. Get those on the homepage. Now it's time to actually launch those things. They should have been built. Flip your theme over, update your theme, like flip it to the newest version of it, highlighting it. If you do have running ads, you're going to have to ramp the ad spend up. You should have budgeted for that. You should be focusing, highlight specific products. And obviously that's super generic. Highlight what's in demand. If you're trying to move product where you're trying to clear out inventory, offer that as a essentially a loss leader. If I'm trying to move things out of my storage, I'm going to try and highlight the things that I need gone on deep discount, and I'm going to highlight the products that are my big home run grand slam hitters. I'm just going to highlight them. Just get them out there, get them in front of people. And then great, retarget the emails with a stronger CTA special offer. There's a whole bunch that you can get done there. I can imagine I will probably get 250 emails in that weekend from all of the people that I follow, and most of that is research and a few brands that I love. It's going to get lost in the mix. So you're going to have to do a very good job of it. Subject lines are a good way to do that. A lot of brands will put like a little emoji in the subject line with like fire or like a boat or a whole bunch. They stand out in your inbox. They're cool. It depends on your brand, the brand that you are. But yeah, anything to stand out will offer also offering value. Very, very important. So week 4 was that box 4. You'll notice it's a small box because like you should not be doing a lot week 4. You should be, there's less things to do in the digital sphere before the calm before the storm. The calm before the storm. Cool. We're going to be going through this as well. Oh, cool. We're going to reiterate this, the chat app. Do we have a chat app? What's the Tidio?
We've got Tidio. We've also used Gorgeous. Gorgeous is the big one we usually promote.
Gorgeous. Yes. How do I forget my friends at Gorgeous? Yes. Cool. There's 2. Great. Klaviyo. Klaviyo is the email provider we promote quite heavily because it's a great tool and it does the job. And it's fairly affordable. Not fairly, it is affordable. Cool. 1 week. Great. There's actually a cool promotion right now with Google. If you're new to business, you can get $600 worth of free advertising through Google by creating a new account with them. It's matching funds, so you need to spend $600 to get $600. Something to think about. $600. The big week. Section 5. You're gonna try to relax a little bit. Like you've done all you can do. You kind of need to come to terms with your own capabilities. Be proud of yourself. Like really, because it can be a stressful time. It is a stressful time. It's not like can be, it will be. So cool. So the big week. So that's like the bottom section of this. It's the bottom left half. Again, response times. Oh, great. Jess, I've seen brands launching their BFCM sale an entire week before. Is this good practice? It can be. Let me get through your question. I'll answer the whole thing. Also, is it confusing to customers to create different sales each day of the sale, or should we have the same sale running the entire weekend? Okay. There are tons of things about this that are like, is this good? And it all depends. This is a depends question. Hudson's Bay, one of the most well-known brands in Canada, does Bay Days. And it's one product on sale for 1 day, and they make a killing. They spend a lot of money to communicate that product. They take over the radio. It's all over their website. It's a whole bunch. It's a complicated sale. It's a lot of effort goes into one product. We're on the Bay. Bay Days is incredible. Great. Awesome. They do a great job of it. They spend a lot of time and energy and money communicating that sale. It's a great sale. 2019, I went to the Bay 7 times during that sale because I ended up buying luggage and I bought a lot of shit. They got me. I was fish on. So they did a good job. I felt like I got good value for my time. Is it a pain in the ass going to the Bay 7 times because they've got good sales? Yeah, it was. It really was. But they did a good job of it. So great. So can it be difficult? It can be difficult to communicate your strategy if you don't do a good job of it. There are great case studies that you can look at going, what did the Bay do? The Bay spent a lot of time. I don't know how successful Bay Days was the first year they did Bay Days. I don't know. Was it a nightmare for them? Now it's a well-oiled machine. They do a great job of it. I'm expecting to see some Bay Days coming before Christmas. I know that COVID kind of put that on hold, but Bay Days is big news. So yes, can it be confusing? It can be. I've seen brands launching their BFCM sale for the entire week. I've seen BFCM brands launch the entire month. They don't care. It's just a sale, and all they want is customers' money. So is there a right time to do it? it all depends on your industry, your product, and who your competitors are. If someone's going to jump in front of you and just create an amazing sale and keep it on for a ton of time, competitive advantage them. Now, I don't know a lot of brands that do that. I know some, but again, this is where I would go back in time and look at what they did last year. Black Friday, Cyber Monday is really turning into a week-long event. It used to be like a weekend event, and now it's a week. It's going to bleed a little longer, especially when, again, it's a free market. So look, I'm just stressed for attention. The longer I have to get your attention, the more attention I'm going to get. So think about that. But there is a right timeline for your business and industry. You just kind of need to do a little bit of research to get there. I've also seen some launch now, slow Black Friday and Slowvember, the Ordinary Skincare example. Yeah, there's tons of examples out there. Great question. Shopify inbox is better than it was. I've used TDO, but not gorgeous. What do TDO offer that Shopify inbox cannot? It's a great question. I'm not overly familiar. Well,
No, we haven't tried Shopify Inbox. If it's good, we might want to go take a look at it. But
Yeah.
it's not one that we've validated internally.
Normally Shopify has some nothing to knock here because Shopify is the tool does a lot. They offer some entry level products like the emailing tool that comes out of Shopify. It's just a basic email provider. Great. Will that do for a brand that's only got 150 email? Great, it will. Most of the times we're trying to grow out of that stage as fast as possible because a professional level tool will provide more value than it costs. Like it's immediate cost savings. So yes, there's a cost of implementation and there's a learning curve to learn it. And it's not free, it comes with a subscription. More often than not, those tools end up making money, a considerable amount of money over the base level tools. So I don't know. I don't know if but Tidios is a good chat app. It does a few things for you. I don't know how it compares to Shopify Inbox. I'm afraid that if I promote the sale prior to the actual sale, it will keep people from purchasing until that sale. What are your thoughts? Of course, this happens all the time. This happens all the time. I get the coupons in the mail before the coupons can be used. And then when I get the coupons from store X, like Canadian Tire, I wait until I can use the coupon. Yes, the cost of doing, unfortunately, people will wait until they can save money, especially when it's only a few days. So there is a chicken and egg problem here. And there's some risk involved. So let's play this out for everyone. I communicate my sale early. They buy early, and I don't get the full margin of my product as if they were to buy it today before the sale started. I still got the sale. Great. So I've lost some amount of dollars, but I have hedged my risk around option 2, which is don't offer the sale early, lose the sale entirely to my competitor who has communicated their offer, and I get no dollars and I lose the sale completely. So it's kind of like how much do I want to risk here? So if you promote it early, yes, you're going to bleed some margin. You should get a bunch of extra value out of that customer though. Like every customer, I want to turn that same customer into a repeat purchaser. So can I get a review out of them? So when I lose a customer, what is the cost? Does it cost me more to lose that customer than the sale was worth? I would say I need the customer then. What is a review worth? What is the word of mouth marketing worth? What is the lifetime value of customer worth? How often and frequent do they actually fill up your pipeline? I would need to do that in order to actually give you an answer to that question. Normally, I don't like losing customers for the sake of $10. I want the customer. I think it's important to take the sale price, especially when it comes to acquiring new customers. Yeah, 100%, because you hope they love the product and come back full price in the future. 100%. That's exactly it. I don't like losing customers for a few bucks. That's like really short-term thinking. I want that customer to buy 50 times over the lifetime. So dollar cost average that out, they buy on sale 10% at the time or whatever. Wondering thoughts on having a sale on Black Friday Then when brands offer an even bigger sale on Cyber Monday, do those who purchased on Black Friday feel upset they didn't? Yeah, sure, they can, but like that's part of life. That's why, again, your return policies need to be communicated. I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do it that way. I wouldn't go like, hey, everything is on sale, 30% off, and mark the entire store. What you should be doing during Black Friday ceremony is going, I got a bunch of sales, and this is what bigger brands do. I got a bunch of sales on Friday. And a bunch of sales are going to be spread out over a product category. Something was the best seller and something was the weakest seller. Great. My goal is to move all my inventory. I want all of it sold. I want to sell everything. I want to be out of stock. I want to maximize the amount of money coming in. So Friday, I sold a bunch. I'm going to tweak my messaging to better promote the thing that didn't sell as well. I want to increase those sales. Especially if I sold out of something, like that messaging needs to change immediately. Like it's gone, it's off the shelf, put something else in its place. So I shouldn't run into a problem. You should be able to use that data live, going after the day, how did I do? How much do I have left? If it's a never ending supply of product, like a digital resource or a course or something that just has infinite scale to it, don't change your strategy. If it's something where you have to do a bunch of manufacturing or buying or importing or whatever, yeah, figure out what you can do to mitigate a bunch of headache. And yeah, if someone buys, like this is customer management, if you tell someone that it is on sale and it's a nice big discount and then they buy it, and then throw another discount on top, yeah, you're gonna piss some people off. Don't do it. Just avoid it. They're running into PR nightmare for the sake of nothing. Planning to launch a new BFCM product on Monday to bring people back instead of offering big discount. Yeah, new is good too. New is great. So again, back to my slides. Chat fast, social media messages, that should say like, great, respond to social media messages within an hour. As fast as possible. Every single one of these things should say ASAP on it. ASAP. As fast as you can get to it without blowing your brains out, that's what you want to do. For brands that aren't comfortable with social media, 1 a day minimum. If you are comfortable with social media, as much as you can stomach. Promo, yeah, 1 a day. That's kind of good. There is a cap on this. The email stuff can get kind of out in a hurry. Like not as many as possible on an email. Just make it a good email. We don't need to put 15 emails into an inbox. One good one. One good one's enough. The number one responsibility, yeah, just like the slide says, if it's your first year, I really want you to be in business next year. And the best way to do that is take a bunch of notes. Take a bunch of notes. It'll be easier for you next year. I know that you'll think, oh, I'll remember that. You won't. We're all human beings. You don't even know what you had for lunch 4 days ago, let alone what happened a year ago. It's going to be hard for you to do that. Take some notes. That's why this sheet exists. Write on it, scribble it up, print 5 of them out. It's going to be easier to communicate with your team. You might grow by 3 team members by next year and someone else is handling it. So you're going to have to communicate what you went through. Write down the pain points. You're not going to be able to solve the pain points in real time. This is like stuff for you to solve in the new year. So like this is you're building kind of a work plan for yourself going, where did my business crack? That needs to get fixed. We're going to write that down. We're going to address it when you can. Cool. The follow-up, that's that last chunk there. It doesn't stop when you got the money. So great, BFCM ends and now we're into December. Cool. What do? We need to communicate with people. How does shipping times look? Oh, we're ahead of schedule or we're slightly behind schedule and not to worry. I want to communicate as much as possible. We can't really ask for reviews yet because they probably don't have the product yet. If they do have the product, get the review. It's going to help your holiday sales. If they haven't received the product yet, you're going to have to wait. So yes, you're going to try and ship orders as soon as possible. We work with some brands. Take a picture of the stuff entering your warehouse with all of the labels printing off your printer and everything. Make people feel like you are making an effort to try and do your best to get them the thing that they ordered. Especially with small business. Advantage you. Show a little bit of transparency behind the scenes. If you're kind of like, assembly lining, doing it, yeah, it makes good content. People like that stuff. Definitely mark. So use the automations that already exist, save yourself the time, mark the order shipped, trigger all your email updates out of Klaviyo for this case, but a bunch of other email providers do that as well. Schedule emails, like, so if you can schedule them and get them off your plate, schedule. Great. I would also schedule another email for an upsell. If you loved this, you might also like this. Schedule it, meanings like just have it on the back burner so that when they get their products and have some time to use it, cool. The reviews, the social proof is probably the biggest one. So like, great, you got their money and they got the product, and then that's the end of the transaction. I want to make sure that we don't lose sight of that. We worked really, really hard to get that customer. It's easier to sell to them again than find a new one. It's easier to get more value out of them. It's easier for them to be a little bit more loyal. There's all kinds of things that we can do there. Something that you're going to have to think about, because again, like, I don't always want to have to fight for a new customer. Instead of paying Google $13 for in ads, I'd rather just give that other customer $13 worth of value. That's going to lead to more word of mouth. Like, if the dollars are going to get spent, I want to spend it on where I'm going to get the most value back. And often case that's with an existing customer. Cool. Yes. Time and resources. So great. We're at the end. We're at the end of this. We've kind of gone through it. Questions. It is Q&A time. You've had a bunch of questions in the chat already, which have been great. If you have any questions about the worksheet, happy to answer them. The floor is open for the next little bit. What is the best incentive to get reviews? The best incentive is to get reviews is offer a really good product that people want to just leave a review on. Technically, we currently offer 15% off discount on their next order. We don't go as many, get in as many reviews. You need to make one. How hard is it to leave a review? Is it as easy as just like opening my email and clicking a button and I'm writing into a text box? We also do what's called social priming. So writing reviews can be a little bit difficult because I now need to be a writer and I need to think about what I want to say about a product. I would prime them by asking them a question. So can you leave a review? Well, that's the question. Can you leave a review? Let's prime them a little bit more. Can you tell us about what you think about X and Y? And then they're going to start the review off by talking about X and Y because it's a better question. And X and Y is going to be like, again, part of like, if you think about why people read reviews in the first place is to alleviate their concerns. So what are their biggest concerns with the product? Maybe it's fragile. Maybe it's expensive. Maybe they're worried about quality. I want my every single review to address the concern. I don't need to tell them how good I am with benefits. I need to address why people are looking at reviews in the first place. So if my product is, really, really heavy duty and it comes with a long lifespan and everything like that, that's going to be pretty apparent. What are people skeptical about? And I will prime them by saying, hey, can you review us on skeptical point 1, skeptical point 2? And I'm going to get a bunch of reviews saying like those things are good. So prime them one, make it easier to leave a review. Normally, we don't tend to ask for money or $1 off when it comes to leaving a review. That breaks some terms and conditions, specifically with Google. If you're looking for Google reviews, if you're looking for an on-site review, it'll be a little bit different. If you need to incentivize, it normally means that your communication wasn't good enough to just have a better relationship with your customer. So this is kind of new, like, how delighted is your customer to be like your customer, like client delight? If they're really delighted, they're going to do whatever you want them to do. And if they're not delighted at all and really pissed off, they're not going to do anything you want them to do. So how can I make them happier? Normally that comes to communication. So like I would be looking at that specific process of how do I communicate better with my customers in order to get, and again, a lot of the times, like when small businesses are communicating, it's a lot of sales. I want less sales. I want less sales in my communications. I want value in my communications. Cool. How do we get customers to take pics of their order or tag us receiving their order? Oh, now that's a big ask because now we're getting real personal. How do we get a customer to take? So in the world of food, very easy. People love taking pictures of food and they like post it. And it's like, here's my cappuccino, or here's my spaghetti and meatballs, and then they post that and it looks really good. So one, is it a good looking product? Like, is this something that people would be proud to have? Or is it like kind of just like, you know, something more functional than fashionable? Normally, if you want people to take reviews, you're going to need very, especially if they're orders, you're going to spend some time with the unboxing experience. What does your packaging look like? Is it fun to open? I know me personally, I'm sure everyone in this call, you still have the box your phone came in from 5 years ago, and you know where it is and you never need it. The box is so nice, you won't throw it away. Laptop box, it's the soft touch, it's the feel. You'll never need that box again. It should have gone in the garbage the minute you got your phone. But you still have that box because the packaging is good. The experience is good. So I would say, how do I get people to take pictures of their order and tag us in receiving their order? Make the experience good. Make people want to share that they're enjoying something. All the time. People want to feel important. People want to feel that they're experiencing something exclusive. Make them feel that way. So if you've just got a bunch of cardboard and they got it in the mail and it was thrown on their doorstep, why the heck would I? Oh yeah, I've got a cardboard box and it's got a logo on it. That's not a brand experience. Yeah, not a brand experience. It's like having a logo on a piece of cardboard is the most minute thing you can do. So make it better. If you make it better, they will absolutely take photos of it. We tried with QR codes on the thank you card, but no luck. Yeah. Thank you card's great. The experience just isn't there yet. So like, I would really look at it. Who is doing the best job in terms of experience? Obviously, yeah, pre-packaging, pre-products, leveraging. Yeah, we often share customer photos on IG, so people want to be shared. Yeah, make it fun. Make it fun. Make it enjoyable. Make it exclusive. Make it part of your brand. If your brand is delivering high quality experiences, next time you go to your local mall, go into a jewelry store and look at the box a watch comes in. The watch can be $100 and it's going to come in a nice box because part of the experience. It's going to be sitting there. It's going to have little things because that's the way watches are sold. It's a nice box. It's got like leather on it and everything. Look at your packaging and go, great. If I want to stand out, I can command a higher dollar value if I deliver a better experience. Cool. People seem to love packaging. Most of the products, hair products. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it's part of what I'm buying. Hard to do because with an e-commerce brand, someone isn't able, like I just have my sense of sight. I don't have all of my sense of touch. I don't have my smell. I don't have my taste. I don't have anything else. So normally when it comes to product packaging, it's a surprise, which is like, oh man, this is nice. Holy crap, this is sweet. I know that we get some packages from some of our technology providers, and it's like, yeah, this is a freaking, they spent money on this. Like, this is beautiful. And then I end up taking a picture of it and thanking them, and it goes on social media. And I'll end up with a pair of their socks or something. Like they give away next to like nothing in terms of what they're actually giving me, but the experience of getting it is fun. Do you have any advice on how to segment email lists for Black Friday? Let's narrow that question down. So yes, segmenting normally depends on how many emails you've currently got in your lists. If you've got a ton, like into the thousands, 5 to 10 to 20,000 email subscribers, you're going to need some segmentation. If you're at 1,000 subs, don't worry about it. We should be doing some automatic segmentation based on number of purchases. So we do need a VIP customer list there for sure, because that is just an automatic segment you can set up really easy. Who spends the most? What's the threshold? That could be dollars, number of orders. Cool. Treat those people differently. The rest of the people you can kind of keep all in one. If you've got very different product segments, so let's just say like you are a clothing store and you sell women's clothing and men's clothing, you could probably segment into those two categories. Again, we don't want, there is a finite amount of value you get from segmentation when you don't have the high numbers in your email list. It's like, what is the cost savings or benefit of doing all the work for what squeeze? So if you have a lot, yeah, because you have a lot to gain. If you have a little, you only have a little bit to gain. you should focus on growing it more than segmenting it. But yeah, the VIP customers are really important. If you've got a previous, if you were running email marketing previously, like I would look at all of the people that also bought last Black Friday, Cyber Monday, because, and hopefully they're still tuned into your brand. Cool. Yes, they will get their hair done, love it, and then send photos of the packaging because they don't have makeup on. Cool. Yeah. Any suggestions on how we can test the optimization of our store prior to the speed? Any suggestion on how we can test the optimized speed score? Speed score, Google Lighthouse. I can put a link in that. For Google Lighthouse is one. I know that Aaron is going to copy this. Speed is important. It's not something that you're going to be able to tackle on your own. Speed is especially on Shopify, you only get so many things to tweak on Shopify to affect your speed. I would almost, from a small business standpoint, I would say do not worry about it. If it is functional within any realm of being a website in 2022, this is not something that you can really control. I would completely not focus on it at all. Aaron, you want to site speed?
No, I mean, that's about where I would leave it. I mean, the good news on Shopify is that you're already on like dedicated servers that Shopify has set up specifically to run an e-commerce environment. There's a lot of things you don't really get to control or have to watch for in terms of working in a closed system like Shopify. I mean, beyond that, like the biggest thing is a lot of minutia in terms of how your websites are built. And that starts to get really finicky. You know, a perfect example is image sliders. Image sliders can really slow down a web page. Having a ton of extra content displayed, that's a lot of load for the server to actually worry about. And then people don't really look at slides past number 2. And you have a 70% drop-off rate between slide 1 and 2. So like, this is content that you're adding to your home pages. A lot of people are adding to their home pages and it's slowing the site down, but it's really not doing anything. The best thing you can do for your site speeds is actually just decrease the amount of content on your pages to a more manageable level and make sure that it's focused on things that are actually going to provide a lot of value.
Other than that, as long as the site loads in a decent amount of time, I wouldn't worry about it for a small business. A couple of questions. Any tips for pop-up shop experience sales for the holidays? Yeah, Shopify POS is awesome. If you have questions about that, happy to answer those. There's great inventory tracking between online sales and in-person sales through that stuff. Tips for pop-up shops, communicate where they are and what's going on ahead of time. People need to make plans to get to places, and so it's not as convenient as online shopping. So for pop-up, I assume it's a pop-up physical shop and not a pop-up mobile shop or a digital shop. Communication is kind of key there. There are awesome sales strategies for in-person only. This is an in-person sale. Hudson's Bay, it's in-person only, one day. That's how it started. So pop-up shops have that advantage where they can do something that is physical location only. Obviously, your audience is a lot smaller because it's not global or national. But you should be able to get that being said, you also have less competition. So there's a whole bunch there. Communication is really important. So pop-up shops show people what to expect. Like, here's what it looks like. So if you have photos from last year or like what to expect, good idea to get those in front, set the expectations. The tips for pop-up shop, I would be looking at like, why is it happening? What is the purpose of the pop-up? So like, I really know why Spirit Halloween is a thing, and it's around for as long as Spirit Halloween is, and they dominate the market for a month and then they're gone. So it's kind of self-explanatory. What is your value does your pop-up shop bring? So gift giving for the holidays, unique product that's only available one time a year. I don't know. You have to figure that out. I don't know. That's going to be You can give me more, I'll go on. Tips for inversion conversion rate. There's a million tips for improving conversion rate. AODA compliance, first one, is your site legible? Like, do my background colors and my foreground colors, are they good? Are they compliant? Are they easily readable? Do we have lots of buttons? Like, not lots of buttons. Do we have clear calls to action? Are there clear calls to action? Good headlines. So like, are we using good information hierarchy? Like, do the headings make me want to read more? Are we using bullet points? Are we breaking down the information and making it consumable? Lots of other things like conversion rate. There's a million here. A lot of them are industry specific. So I don't want to gloss over that one too much. I would look at like where people drop off on page, where they stop reading, what page they're entering on. So like, are they coming through the homepage or are they entering another one? Is it easy to find? Is your navigation good? How many buttons does it take for someone to find what they're looking for? Every additional click in the process, there's going to be drop off. So can I streamline it a little bit? Is the messaging easy? Am I getting blasted with like a pop-up right away that says join our email newsletter list, even though like I've been on the site for 3 seconds? No, I'm not joining your email newsletter list. I just got here. I know nothing about you. I'm not giving you my email. So there's a bunch there. It depends. There's plenty. Normally when it comes to conversion rates, like simple is better. Simple. Keep it really easy. Like if it's a complicated product, you need to sell it in a non-complicated manner. Cool. That was good. That was good.